everybody. Welcome again to YSN Primetime Live. DJ Yoakley with you. We're live in Beaver Local High School, and man, it is a gorgeous facility here. If you haven't been out lately, you need to. And this place is going to be rocking tomorrow night because it is home of the game, boys. The game. It's Beaver Local. It's East Liverpool. It's red versus blue. It's one town, two teams, and ownership rights come down to tomorrow night. We're here with two very special gentlemen. Of course, on the other side, we got Steve Leslie, Donnie Rigatelli, our usuals, I should say, at this point. Donnie, welcome. As always, we're happy to have you once again. Steven, as well, back from YSU last week. Happy to have you back.
Absolutely.
And we got two very special guests here to start off the show. Gentlemen, introduce yourself.
I'm Wyatt Loy. I play linebacker inside and right guard on offense.
My name's Nathan Sprouse. I play left tackle and outside linebacker.
Let's start with you, Wyatt. When you coach off air said, hey, these are two converted tight ends,
Yes,
now
sir.
offensive linemen. Talk to me about being a guy that's out there catching passes to being part of the big boys up front.
Well, it's a lot different than you think because you'd be out there catching balls and then instantly you have to be able to block, obviously, for your tight end, but then you're just go straight to strictly blocking. And it's definitely fun down being in the trenches. So,
Nathan?
It's a commitment. We're obviously pretty undersized for linemen, and going from running routes every day to being down practicing ladders is a pretty big transition. So, and it is fun.
Coach had to be a pretty good salesman to get you to move from tight end to lineman, right?
I was for whatever helped the team.
I love it. What about you, Wyatt? Was it a good sale?
yeah. Oh, yeah. He pitched it well.
Steve, what do you got? I mean, two guys that are team oriented, obviously, from a standpoint of moving to being a primetime player to being the guys that get fed first.
That's impresses me the most. There's no doubt about it when you have two young men like here that represent Beaver Local, the community. They just want to win football games. And you said it best. What a great facility. The complex is fantastic. Great kids year in and year out, and a great head coach and Coach McKenzie. But this is how you win football games. Size doesn't matter. Technique and skill and aggressiveness and a passion to help your teammates. These two exemplify that with the best of them.
Gotta want it. Boys, talking off camera, I asked you one question, and I promised you it was off the record, but now it's on the record. If you got one game and you can only win one game all season, is this that game against East Liverpool?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, talk to me about this rivalry. And there's a lot of people, I'm from Columbiana County, just a few miles away in East Palestine. A lot of people don't realize how tense this rivalry is. This is two teams in one town. East Liverpool is represented on both sides come tomorrow night. What is it like to have one town ownership over one game?
Oh, it's everything comes down to this point. Like you said, it was 22-21 like that. So everything, a lot of things riding on this game. So
yeah, you nailed it. I mean, you guys have the lead 22-21 in the all-time series.
Yes.
Not to put any pressure on you, but you as seniors don't want to give that away.
Yeah.
But naturally, you come out of this game, it's a big opportunity not only just to have your name etched in history in this rivalry, but this could be really, if you look at it, this could be a conference championship game, in week 4 when you guys are looking back in week 10 and say, hey, that game we played against East Liverpool either propelled us into this opportunity or we got to fight our way into the playoffs. Nathan, talk to me about where you're standing with this one.
It's we live a couple miles away from these kids. It's like when we go to volleyball games, we're in the student section,
which I love, by the way,
against each other, and it's pretty special, honestly.
All right, I got to ask, 57 points last week. The O-linemen, you guys were hustling around. Talk to me about what it was like to put up a 50 burger with cheese. Right? I mean, that's anytime you can put up 40, you're good. But you guys almost put up 60.
Yeah. It was a lot of hard work, teamwork, and pushes us through that. And we have a great skilled set of players, so they just made it possible. We're just there to stand people's way. They're the ones that moving around everybody. So.
Nathan, when you look at the scoreboard, you see 57 points. That's something to be proud of?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always room for improvement. Just like Wyatt said, we can't take all the credit for the points.
Sure you can. You're lineman.
Absolutely.
You got to get some credit, right?
We have great skilled players, and we really count on them at times.
So we're going to get a little down and dirty because Donnie Riccatelli brings all the good questions. So, Donnie, you got anything down there you want to ask these two gentlemen?
Well, I always start out with a food question. So what's your favorite thing to eat over at two cookies? Two smart cookies?
I honestly I get the chicken tenders and fries when I go there.
Perfect. not any desserts though, right?
No.
I could tell by your slender physique there.
I probably have to say the mushroom bacon cheeseburger.
There we go. All right. Sounds like somewhere to go after this
yeah, it's good. It's definitely good.
No, but talking about like team concept, like you guys said, you stepped up and you did anything you wanted. Like you would do anything for your team.
Yes, sir.
Is everybody bought into that? Do you feel, you guys are seniors now, and does everybody buy into that?
Yeah. I asked some of the skilled players just for fun if they would move down the line, and they said absolutely.
Yeah, that's perfect.
If they needed it, they would happily move down the line.
That's perfect. That's awesome.
You guys are in a real interesting situation because you're on Pastor Field. He was an unbelievable football player, skill player. And then you got some defensive lineman that played a couple years in the NFL named Derek Wolf. He's done a thing or two.
Yeah.
What is it like to look at the rich history of this program and the winning history of this program, and you sit there and you say, we could be part of that? As seniors, you guys have a great opportunity to write your own story here. What story do you want to write?
I just want to be known throughout like a winning seasons when back when was it 2003, 2004, all those years, did back-to-back 10-0s. That's definitely something to shoot for in like at the beginning of seasons and stuff like that. But we're just trying to work our way towards being great, I guess. So
same thing you.
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah, pretty much. You hear like Coach Weiss, he played.
Josh
Weiss, yeah.
I know Josh Weiss very well.
You always hear about them, how great of seasons they had, and it's just kind of cool that we could have the potential to live up to what they're living up to right now.
Let me tell you what, Josh Weiss, unbelievable football player. We played. I was an announcer at Westminster, and he played. And just having to be from the same county was awesome. So great representative of your school and obviously your program. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll get you guys off the hook. When we take a break, we'll have two more players from Beaver Local on the eve of the game here at Beaver Local High School. More with YSN Primetime live right after this.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Yoakley along with a cast of characters here. We're live at Beaver Local High School for the eve of the game here against almost said Evil Local, East Liverpool. It is primetime live here for YSN. Gentlemen, we got two new guys. Don't be looking at the number too closely because you what? Forgot your jersey?
Yeah, I forgot my jersey at home.
All right, do your intro first.
All right, well, I'm Dorian Jackson. I'm a wide receiver and a safety.
I'm Joseph Mon, a running back in DB.
And two seniors, again, right here from Beaver Local. Guys, huge game. Huge game. I mean, your teammates said if there's one game to win all season, this is the one. Are you in that same boat?
Yes, most definitely. This is a very big game for us.
Absolutely. This is the most important game I've played in high school yet to me.
You guys, when you look at your senior year, you close your eyes and, when you're freshman and you go, okay, this is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to feel like. You guys have had some obviously adversity last year with COVID. This year, it's kind of rearing its ugly head again. What is it? I mean, the adjustments that you've had to make as seniors, does this game still kind of bring that out? I mean, is it still what you thought it would look like as seniors when you're playing East Liverpool?
After last year, I mean, kind of put a lot of thoughts in our head about how the season would turn out, but I think this game will be bigger than I thought it would be my freshman year. I mean, the community is crazy out here. Everyone loves to come to the games, watch us, and support us. So, I mean, Liverpool's the same way. They always got a big student section, a lot of people in the stands. So I think it's going to be a huge game. Everyone's going to be here bright and early for kickoff. So I think it'll be a huge game.
Joe,
I mean, practically just what he said. Whenever you're coming into high school, you don't really know how big these games are until you're in the game, and it's just surreal. And especially on rival week, this game against East Liverpool is going to be insane.
So when you're walking through the tunnel, you're walking onto the field, you're going to see behind us, you have that entire stadium full of red and white on this side, blue and white on that side. What's the first feeling and emotion going through you?
It's go time. I get that buzz. I'm ready to go. Nothing's no better feeling in the world than running out on Friday night.
Yeah, just locked in, just ready to go.
All right, what's Steve? I'm gonna steal one of yours. What's the music you're listening to in the locker room?
I'm going with rap music. That's just me. I'm gonna go "Dreams and Nightmare" by Meek Mill.
All right.
I'm gonna go rap too.
Oh, I was guessing country. I had country nailed down.
Country.
No, I don't have a specific song though. Just rap.
Stevie.
So the linemen would probably be our country guys. Then.
Oh yeah,
country.
That's for sure. Those are
country?
blue
Yeah,
colors
we're
out there
country.
working their
big
butts
country.
off.
Talk about that a little bit. How important is that? You guys are good friends, senior class. You get along well. Two senior buddies say, "I just want to go do what's going to make us the best team," and obviously they make you go with up front. Talk about those two, what they mean to you guys as skill players.
It's amazing, honestly. Like giving their effort and taking one for the team, really to go down there and push us and make us better. It's just great that we're surrounded by people like that, and people give us the credit all the time, and I don't think that's fair. Without their effort and them doing what they do for us, we would never be able to make the plays or make the highlights or score that you guys see. So hats off to them.
Yeah, I can't respect them enough, from being the ones to scoring touchdowns, to being the ones to help us score the touchdowns and doing great at it. It's just amazing. Can't thank them enough.
Did you see the eye contact right there?
Yeah.
Like looking at him and thanking him. That's awesome.
It's a brotherhood. No question. And I think that's DJ. I've told you this. This is one of the best rivals around in Ohio in football. There's no doubt about it. I am excited. Mr. Hannon, I said we have to be on the road by 1 o'clock because tomorrow night on YSN, this is going to be one of those games I watch. When you see a facility like this may be one of the best facilities we have from a football standpoint.
Absolutely.
In our area, and it's a credit to all the good people at Beaver Local that do great things and come out and support kids. And let's be honest, you said this, the student body may be one of the best we have at YSN.
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
I mean, honestly, it just you come down here. First of all, driving from Boardman all the way down here on Route 7 couldn't have been a better drive. Winding through all those roads, and then all of a sudden you get here to Beaver Country, and it's like, all right, you could just feel it in the air. It feels amazing. Like, it just brings Friday Night Lights back to me personally. Like, you get that feeling when you walk out on the turf. It's like you guys are ready to go. You could tell. I mean, when I got here, you guys were just finishing up practice. Coach was giving you some words of wisdom, and I mean, all eyes were on him, which I love. I mean, nobody was showing any sign of disrespect by looking away, looking down. You guys look like you're ready to go, so I'm excited for it.
What's the motto this year for you guys? What's the go-to? I mean, every team's got like their go-to motto, plant the flag, it's our time, things like that. Do you guys have one, or are you just kind of you going day by day and listen to what Coach McKenzie has to say?
We're just going day by day. Coach McKenzie's our leader. He leads us through everything, so we're just going to put our trust in him and do as he asks.
Yeah, I mean, he always knows what he's doing. He's a great leader, so we just follow him.
He came in as when you guys were freshmen, correct?
I believe we were in 8th grade.
8th grade. Okay, so you've had him the entire gamut. I mean, his leadership style. I mean, there's a lot of intimidation. Like, we're scared of him, and his son works for us. Talk to us about like what he's like off the field.
He's a great guy. Honestly, he's very easy to talk to, and he always has good relationships with his kids off the field. And he's not as intimidating as you think. You get to his soft side very easily.
Lies.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to him about anything. He's always there for you, and he's just a great authority figure for all of us. He's a great guy.
All right, last question for you. Tomorrow night, obviously, this place is going to be rowdy. It's going to be hopping. The lights, when you guys score, go crazy like you're the New York Yankees, which I dig. I mean, what are your expectations for this game? It's going to be obviously physical. It's always physical. What do you guys have to do better than East Liverpool to walk away the winners at the end of the game?
We got to execute, most importantly. I mean, it's very hard to win a dogfight football game like it will be tomorrow without executing a lot of things. So we'll just keep our heads down, keep pushing every day, do what we can.
Yeah, we just have to fly to the ball and play all 4 quarters, and we'll be all right.
All right, here we go. Off the gridiron. Who is your favorite teacher at Beaver Local?
Shout out Miss Miller, Carrie Miller, all the way.
Shout out Miss Miller.
All right, Miss Miller is getting some love. All right, let's go. Your favorite subject?
History.
I'm gonna say math, probably.
You said lunch before.
Yeah.
You changed your answer.
That's not a real subject. I mean, I love lunch. But
What's the best school lunch here?
We just got it today. We get these potato bowls with gravy, corn, and chicken. It's great.
Yeah, the mashed potato bowls.
I don't think we'll come to lunch.
It's
up here.
awesome.
Or the tater tots.
Tater tots. That's where it's at. All right, guys, you got anything left for him?
Just one thing, and Donnie, you said this. DJ, big rivalry games for you guys. I would just say, and Donnie, I know you'll enjoy every second of it.
Absolutely.
You're a senior. You're going to play in a great environment. Not that you're concentrating, you're doing those things, but if you get that chance when you're out here, take a look around and soak it up. Last year you played in a circumstances that were not fair to anybody.
No,
that was a tough situation, tough on families, tough on coaches. That's all I'd like to see you do. Take a minute to yourself and look around and say, wow, this is what I thought of when I was in 8th grade, what Beaver Local football means to me. And I think you're going to get a good win tomorrow night.
Okay. I agree. And I would end on one thing, and it's a would you rather. Okay. You guys both play offense, defense. All right. Tomorrow night's game. Would you rather score the game-winning touchdown or stop them on the goal line to seal the deal?
Ooh.
I'm going to say score the game-winning touchdown because they're not getting close to the goal line.
Look at you.
I like the answer.
Goosebumps.
I
agree with that answer 100%.
That's a good answer.
I love it. That's chills right there.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the head ball coach of the Beaver Local Beavers, Mike McKenzie, right here on YSN Primetime Live.
We are there in your community. Small business owners, mechanics, police officers, homemakers. And we are there serving our nation in the Air Force Reserve. When medical emergencies arise, in cybersecurity, when natural disasters happen, we are there in space. We are Reserve Citizen Airmen, and we are there with over 180 different jobs to serve your country. Air Force Reserve.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
With you, Steve Leslie, Donnie Riccatelli, and we're joined by a very special guest, one whose name is very familiar on YSN. Not that Mike McKenzie, the big one, the older one, and the one that leads the Beaver Local Beavers. Coach, how are you?
Good, DJ. How are you?
Doing well. All right, so let's get right down to it. This is the game. This is your, fifth time through?
Fifth time. Yeah.
Fifth time through. So 22-21, the all-time series record. This one's big for the seniors, obviously. They want to carry the stick. Expectations for this game. I mean, this game's a little bit different than all the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1 of 10. You know, we try to approach it. We talk to the kids all the time about, we get 10 of them. So everyone is the same in the essence that we're out there 48 minutes, we're playing. The difference in this game is the atmosphere, is the outside. You know, we talked a little bit there at the end of practice about when you get onto the field, there's a different feel. When you walk out for warm-ups at 5:30 when our quarterbacks come out, there's a little more buzz. There's, those types of things. And contrary to your advice, we've told our kids, focus on the game. I use a saying from Nick Saban. He talks about it with big games and with his defense. See a little, see a lot. See a lot, see nothing. So, if you talk about apply it to defense, if you're a linebacker and your key's the guard, if you're reading your guard, you see a little, you're going to be able to see what, it's going to tell you what everything else is doing. But if you try to watch all 11 guys all at once, you're not going to see anything. So the same thing, we try to take that approach to the game. If you walk in and you're looking at the stands, you're looking at all these things, you're not focused on what your assignment is that night. You're not getting locked in. So that's our big saying. Our seniors can, they've heard me say that for 4 years now, so they can finish that. See a little, see a lot. So that's going to be our focus. If we try to see a lot, we try to do too much, then we're not ready to go. So just don't let the game be bigger than what it is. Don't let the atmosphere be bigger than what it is, but enjoy the game. It's definitely an intense rivalry. There's a different emotion with it. And so part of that's controlling your emotions when you get into that big rivalry game. There's more people in the stands. There's, those people are saying things. And sometimes that can, as the stands get fired up and it can, get with you and mess with your head a little bit. So we talk about playing with intensity, not playing with emotions. If you play with emotions, you're up and down. Your play is dictated by things going on in the field. But if you're playing with intensity, you're playing with great effort every play. So that's our focus: play with intensity, not emotion.
I'm really impressed. I mean, we talked about it before we went live here. You had 2 tight ends that converted to your offensive line. That's not an easy sell for a coach whenever you're taking the ball out of somebody's hands. Talk about the buy-in of this year's team.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have those kids. These are our 4th and 5th kid that we've done it. Last year we moved Wyatt down there. And so last year we had Tommy Warwick, Payne Allen, and Wyatt were all converted tight ends. And this year, Nathan was a tight end for us last year and had a touchdown. And we went to him this year and said, we need you to play offensive line. We didn't have to go. He kind of knew. He kind of came to us and said, I'll do whatever we need to do. I didn't have to go to him. He kind of came to us. So we've just been fortunate. We have great kids, I have a great group of kids. And, we've got a couple tight ends now that Coach Shashansky's lobbying us to get those guys, and he keeps talking to me about bringing those guys down when they come down and block. So like I said, we've just been fortunate to have a great group of kids that buy in, that want to win. Whatever it takes to win, they're going to do.
Talk to me about the culture of Beaver Local. You've been around here and there and everywhere, doing a lot of coaching for several different teams. What makes Beaver Local different than the other schools that you've coached at?
We have a great community, great facilities. Kids are kids. Wherever we go, it's part of I think how you handle kids and how you treat kids. And so I've been fortunate to be in a lot of very good places, and Beaver Local is a special place. And have a great relationship with these guys. It's nice when you get that group. Started last year with our seniors. Last year we'd had them for 4 years, and you have a strong background, strong relationship with them. And same thing with these guys. Been around them, you watch them grow up from little pups as these guys. I saw them in 8th grade running around here, and now to watch them become young men and watch the maturity and watch the way some of these guys spoke, and had to pay a few of them for some of the things they said about me, but watching that maturity and watching that growth is just special. That's why I get into coaching. I love to win. I'm very, very competitive. I hate to lose. But if all we determine our success by is the score on the scoreboard on Friday nights, then every coach at some points is going to lose. The score on the scoreboard doesn't determine or dictate whether we are winners or losers as people. It's our relationships and how we handle things and how we handle adversity. And that's a big thing that we'll talk about tomorrow night. If you talk to my kids, they'll tell you, control what you can control. They hear me say it on a daily basis. Control what you can control. Our effort, our attitude. We can't control all of those other things. And that's how we got to approach life. So, the relationships that I get, going back to thinking about this year, Saturday's 20th anniversary of 9/11. That was my first year as a head coach. And so still thinking about, where I was, the classroom that I was in that day, and my players that were in that classroom, and us sitting down and talking. And so now, those kids have their own kids, and we're still friends, and I still keep in connection with the kids. And, we were out in Toledo at that point, Swanton, and the kids at Edison. I have Coach O'Brien, who played running back for me. And, every place I've been, I still have a strong relationship with those kids. So that's why I coach as much as I enjoy the X's and O's. I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy competing on Friday nights, but I love building relationships with the kids.
Now you talk about the 9/11. You guys are going to do something special on Friday with East Liverpool, kind of in unison, under our banner, the Stars and Stripes. Talk about that.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Ludwig today, and we're going to come out together, and we're going to be on the goal line together as one large group. It was a tragedy what happened, and it united us. And while we're going to be combatants on the field, when we're off the field, we're still want to show that togetherness. So we're going to pay that respect and recognition to that it deserves. And while they're playing the anthem, we'll be out there together. And then when it's over, we'll go out and we're gonna fight like dogs to win a game.
Love it. Stevie?
Yeah, Coach, that's one of the things that impresses me the most about your young men, the way they spoke. The relationships are huge, and you've had great relationships. One of the keys for you in this football game tomorrow, if there's something you want to see this team do maybe better or something that needs to be done, what's a key for you to get a big win tomorrow night for this program?
I think Doran hit on it. Execution. We got to execute. We got to know what we're doing. Assignment, alignment. We talk on defense a lot about assignment and alignment, responsibility. So making sure that we're, we know what our assignment is, we're aligned in a proper technique, knowing what our responsibility is. Playing hard, and dealing. They hear me every Friday night in the locker room. We're going to deal with what, guys? We're going to deal with adversity. We're going to deal with adversity at some point. It's a microcosm of life. So how we react and respond to the adversity, we're going to have something's going to happen that might not be in our control. How we respond to that and how we go with the ebbs and the flows, that's going to be a big determinant of how we win this game. How we play the game, how we determine the outcome of it. So that's a big part of us, how we're going to do that. But yeah, execution. We always, I think every week we go in to talk about, we want better execution. So
absolutely. Well, we wish you the best for sure, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah. You talk about, the places that you've been and all the different seniors that you've coached throughout the way. What kind of legacy do you want your seniors to leave?
We talk about, at the beginning of the year, this is a big book tradition. You have a big, this is their chapter. So they get, we want to win this game. We've been on the short end of it too long, that ledger's flipped a little bit. We want to come out and get a victory, but we want to play hard. We want to pay the game the proper respect and recognition that it deserves in this rivalry, and make plays and be that, every year you can get that chance to make that play, be the guy, and we want to come out with a victory this year.
Great.
This is my guy for way more reasons than just the colors he wears, and because his son is one of the best announcers on our network, one of the biggest Pirates fans I know.
Oh yeah.
So talk to me about from a standpoint of learning from this year's Pirates team or being a Pirates fan. You talked about the scoreboard doesn't matter. It's what you do kind of outside the lines as well. Talk to me about the education of these kids and how important it is. And I mean, you're an administrator here too, and that's important for them to set their life up right here in high school.
Oh yeah, that's a huge part of this. Sorry guys, but none of these guys are going to play in the NFL.
Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news.
But you know what? They're going to go out and they're going to be great. All those guys right there are going to be great. Either employers, some of them are going to run their own business. They're going to run their own business. They're going to be great employees. They're going to be great fathers. They're going to be great husbands. They're going to be great people. And so when we get out of this, it's great. You get to talk about those memories. 5 years we'll be talking about something that happened in the locker room, or hey, remember that moment at practice when this happened. So that's all important, but how they set themselves up for the rest of their life is important too. And that's what that's what part of football is. How do you deal with adversity? You're gonna have adversity in your life. You're not gonna you're gonna lose a job. You might have something in your family, God forbid. I lost my father my senior year of high school to a sudden heart attack. Deal with adversity. How are we gonna overcome that? And so that's part of putting yourself, we train physically, we go in the weight room so that we can, we run faster, we're stronger and stuff. Part of football is that mental training, how you deal with adversity, how you deal with those emotions, how do you, all those things. So that's part of the education of these guys. It's not just, 1 + 2 = or 1 + 1, 1 + 1 = 2, those types of things, but how we deal with emotions, how do we deal with, when you go out and you're, you're an employee and you have 50 other guys, and I ain't gonna lie, we have different personalities on our team that might not hang out outside of here, but they're gonna work together here to build a winning team and be unified.
And one of the coolest things I love about you, you're a great coach, but you're an even better father and husband.
No doubt.
One of those guys that I model myself after. When I see the way that you treat your kids and you treat your wife, being that Michael is a part of YSN, he's been a huge part of us for 3 or 4 years now. Talk to me about him and the excitement that he has for your team. And when you guys have conversations at coaches' corners and things of that nature, I love watching them because it's just, it's great to see a father and son interact with microphones.
Well, I don't know that. Well, I can walk in here somewhere. When we do that, I've told him this, this started my first year here. I don't know what the game was. It was early on. It might've been the Lindsley game, our first loss. And, after weeks 1 and 2, he'd interviewed me. We had nice wins, and he was waiting over there. He was only in 8th grade at that point, and he was, I know you lost. It's, I'm on there. I guess that's part. You're not Michael. You're a reporter right now, so it's your job to do it. So he's taking that and run with it, because I get constant commentary about how much he rips on the coaching decisions that I make, and when we do the coach's corner. But I'm not easy on him either. So
no, you're not. I love it.
So we have that relationship. We have the professional relationship, and then, off the air, we have the father-son relationship. I'm blessed. Like, I'm not, nothing that I don't do anything. I'm just blessed with a great wife and 2 great kids. And I don't know how I got lucky, but something, I guess Nicole must be taking care of them.
You're both doing an amazing job, and you're doing an amazing job with these kids, man. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you so much for more than just the stuff you do on the sidelines.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And thanks for coming out, giving these guys a little rec, and, hopefully we'll have some positive news tomorrow night.
You got it, brother. We'll be back with YSN Primetime Live right after this.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times. But because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense, to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Turn that off. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. See, like I told you, grade 1 production. We're talking about ringtones and all other stuff. I want to thank the boys of Beaver Local as well as Coach McKenzie for stopping by today. But now, boys, we got to talk about some football happening elsewhere. We'll get back to this game as our featured game. But joining us now, a little younger version of Mike McKenzie. It's Michael McKenzie, our Michael McKenzie. Is it a junior or is it just...
It's not a junior because technically we don't have the same middle name.
I see. A technicality.
Yeah, technicality. Yep.
All right, you ready to pick some games? You ready to talk about some games?
Absolutely.
You got this call tomorrow night,
Yes,
and
I do.
I'm really excited to hear you. Look how excited he is. He's
Man,
ramped up.
This is probably the most amped up I've been to call a game for YSN maybe ever, and it's been 3 years now.
Yes, sir.
Been calling games. I mean, I am stoked for tomorrow night.
You think that? Oh, well, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, let's talk right off the top. Ashtabula St. John at Wyndham. Paul Munson has the call on this. Supposedly, he's going to be on top of a roof. So let's start there. Wyndham has looked really good early on this season. They already have one COVID week down. Talk to me about what you're expecting. I mean, Ashtabula St. John is just a tough team. I mean, and tough on the other side.
Surprisingly, though, I didn't think Wyndham was going to have a year that they were having until they laid it to Jackson Milton. And you know, St. John's normally is not that great of a football team. I think the Bombers are going to lay one on them. If like you said, are they going to be at Wyndham or is it going to be at St. John?
At Wyndham.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to be up on a roof at Wyndham. I remember playing there, and our assistant coaches all had to go up this tower, and it was ricketing back and forth, and the wind was blowing, and we feared for their life. So it was crazy. But no, the Bombers are surprisingly better than what I expected. So I'm going to go with them this week.
All right, Steve, let's go to Canfield, where the Cardinals are going to take on New Philadelphia at New Philly. You got a chance to talk to Coach Pav last night. What did he have to say about it?
Yeah, it's a tough matchup, obviously. Very comparable to Dover. Good football down that way. I think, the one thing I love about Coach Pav is if they can't run the ball, he tells you they're going to be in trouble, and if they don't stop the run. So they'll get a big dose of the run game from New Philly. Travel, I don't think, is a problem for them. They've traveled a lot over the last few years. I think it's a great game, but I think Canfield pulls out a big win on the road.
Champion at Newton Falls. Two teams really just trying to find their sea legs and trying to figure things out. Newton Falls I think has the advantage in this. I mean, Champions, it's been a tough start for them. So it's going to be interesting. The school will be carrying that game for us. You can watch it all live on ysnlive.com for free. Billy just gave the get out of here look. Let's go to Cheney at St. Charles. Don't know a whole lot about St. Charles, to be honest with you, but I do know a lot about Cheney, and I know their heart beats strong in Cowboy country. Steve?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Chris has done a great job with them over the last few weeks. They've improved, and they played a great schedule. You have to go back to who they've played early on. I think it's a game that they'll go on the road. They played them last year, I think, was a game that was pretty close. But I think that this is a Cheney team that's starting to find a little identity at the quarterback spot and throwing the football a little bit. And anytime you have those two big boys at defensive end, that's a long night for an offense. I think Cheney goes on the road and gets a win.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Cheney, what they have to realize is they have to keep playing within themselves. There's rumor has it that there's a lot of Ohio State coaches that are going to be at the game tomorrow night to watch a couple running backs for Cheney. So, they know that they're going to be there. So you just can't be nervous about it. You got to just put your head down and go and play like you can play. I definitely think they they come out with a nice handy victory there.
Michael, let's talk about Camel at Crestview. Crestview, a team that has been second half team this entire year. I mean, I talked to Coach Husick today. He said, we wish we could figure out what the hell is going on in the first half. But you look at Crestview, a tough loss to United last week. What are your expectations against the run and gun offense of Crestview against Camel, who's seemingly always fast and physical?
I mean, I feel like it's going to be a high-powered game. You know, you talk about a lot of athletes on both sides of the ball, as you just mentioned. Crestview's been a great team the past couple of years, a second-half team this year. This year, I mean, I feel like Campbell's the team that Crestview plays. No offense to Campbell, but I feel like that Crestview, this is going to be a week where they really find their footing, not only in the second half, but you know, they start off fast. They got those athletes, and I feel like they pick up a big victory this week.
Let's go back to back with you here, because this is Latonia opening up their new stadium tomorrow against East Palestine. When you sit there and you look at these two teams, this could be a big win for East Palestine, but this could be a signature win for Latonia. This is their first game of the season, week 4.
And we saw Wellsville, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I believe, actually last week, I believe, with week 3. They played their first game, had some rough couple of weeks. So I think Latonia is going to come off a little rusty. I mean, you're 4 weeks into the regular season, and you're playing your first game if you're Latonia. I feel like that East Palestine could really pick up a big victory this week. But I know you're a Palestine guy, but I'm going to have to go Latonia on this one.
That's okay. And Billy just got the thumbs down. I don't know who he's booing now, but he's booing somebody. Situation, two of these teams, Steve. I mean, you've been in bad situations before. Both teams still looking for their first win. Palestine looking for their first win since Ashtabula St. John last year.
Yeah, but still love what Coach does. His attitude, the way he is with those kids at East Palestine is a big thing. And it's the unknown. Coach Julia with Latonia, you know, how long has this been? How have they been able to do things without playing a game? And, you know, you see a lot of teams play their first games. The mistakes, they're going to have to go through all of that. I think this is going to be a close game for quite a while. I really do.
Who has the advantage, Donnie? I was talking to Coach Tony Foster. I'll call him Coach Tone, but talking to Tone last night, and I asked him, I said, how difficult and challenging is it to study for a team that doesn't have any tape out there?
Well, it's not even just studying a team that doesn't have any tape out there. You're studying against a team that actually has wins over the last couple seasons, and you know, I think it's going to be very difficult for East Palestine to find a rhythm, find a groove anyways against them, because of they don't know how to win yet. You know what I mean? And that goes a long way, you know, and you get a coach like Coach Julia to go to Latonia. I mean, he's not going to go there for some slouches. So he's going to do everything he can to get that program up and running.
I think Letonia's out to prove that they were more than just one-man band last year, and I think it's going to be interesting. Also, again, opening up their brand new stadium, some incentive for East Palestine, because you know that there's 2 times during the season that you want to win a game. It's at homecoming, and it's when somebody else opens up a new stadium and you paint they paint their church, so to speak. So, all right, let's go to our next game as it opens up. It is going to be Ellet at East, and we will have Jason and Kyle on the call in this one. East, tough start to the season for them. Is this their bounce back game at home?
You want to hope so for East. They need to get off to Schneid 2 and get that victory. I love what Coach Ason's doing. You know, they had their first victory in week 1 and then have kind of stumbled the last 2 weeks against good opponents, no question. But I think this is a game that they're expected to win. I'm curious to see. And you've talked about this. Can you come out and execute and do things and play the game? But I think East gets another victory.
Donnie?
I agree. I think East is all over Ellet. I mean, Ellet comes down quite a bit from Akron, and you know, there's probably a reason why they're not playing those other tough schools up there. They feel like they can come down to Mahoning, Columbiana County, Trumbull County, wherever they have to go and try to get some easy victories, but they've stumbled on that. So
I'm interested in this one. You got to see Salem, 2 weeks ago? Last week? What was it?
I watched the game, obviously, at HQ, but Salem had the call. But, yeah, Salem, that's a good football team, man.
So you got Firestone at Salem and Jackson Johnson back on the grind. We call him QB11 on our show. Can anybody stop the firepower that Salem's bringing to the table right now? Donnie, we'll start with you.
Firestone can't. I mean, it's not going to happen this week. So no.
QB11, the X line, pretty much. it could be the best duo in the area, but they can hurt you in a lot of ways. They get some big runs. They're coached very well with Coach Johnson. I think they roll too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know Salem's schedule, but I don't think that anyone down the line is going to be able to stop Salem until deep into the playoffs, to be honest with you.
Week 10, they got West Branch in there.
I mean, that could be a good game, but up until about that point, I think Salem has a chance to just roll through their schedule.
Let's check this one. LeBray at Garrettsville Garfield. If this wasn't our featured game, we'd be over in LeBray right now. Because to be honest with you guys, that game, nobody's even touching it. And I think that's going to be one of the best games on the slate. Donnie?
I'm telling you right now, if we didn't go to Garrettsville last week, I probably would have given the slight edge to LeBray.
Yeah.
But seeing those Hogs up front and seeing the size of the skill positions that they have, and they just seem so disciplined and under control. And I know I'm getting waved off over by our LeBray homer over here, but it's okay. I predict that Garrettsville goes 10-0 this year, and they're going to get it done against LeBray.
Wow.
Okay.
Stevie?
Well, it's two different styles.
Yeah.
I think that Coach Armini, I think, has to try to fast pace the game a little bit. I don't think it's one of those games that he wants to see those big boys from Garfield with the ball and the clock running down and on possessions and running that play clock down. I think you're going to see some different things from LeBray. I really do. I don't think that they've showed a whole lot in their first three games. I think you're going to see some different formations. And that young man we had on last week, Aiden Stevens, and that crew, Carter at running back, and the receivers that they have. I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to go LeBray in a big win.
In a big win.
Not a big win, but I'm going to say LeBray gets a big win to send them into a nice run to the end of the year. Because if they win this game, I don't know how many people can beat them.
So let's peel the onion back one layer. Okay, are we talking about a high-scoring game? Are we talking about maybe a 13-12, 13-10?
I honestly believe it's going to be a 28-21 battle like that. I mean, I'm trying to remember what the score was last week against Kennedy for Garrett. So I think it was 28-14, something along those lines. LeBray obviously can probably score a little bit more than Kennedy. So maybe even like I said, a 28-21 or even a 35-28. There's going to be scoring for sure, but it's not going to come in spurts. It's going to be grinded out. I'm telling you, this is going to be more physical of a football game than a lot of D1 schools right now.
Stevie?
I'm going to say the winner's in the 30s.
Okay.
I think 30 points has to win the game for
Yeah.
you. And I think that's a key for LeBray. If it's in the teens, then that's one of those physical games where it's in between a box and you could play in between the tackles. If it's in the 30s, one of those guys has the opportunity to break a tackle for an 80-yard touchdown, and then I think that's LeBray.
Michael?
I mean, I feel like that both teams are going to score upwards over 30 points. I mean, even if Garfield is, that team that's going to slow the game down and have these methodical drives, they were a team that could still hit the big play when they played here last year. Beaver Local played them, and I feel like that they're still that team this season. And you talk about LeBray, I mean, Billy Mack's all over it. They got athletes all over the field. So I feel like you're talking about an explosive game, high scoring. Both teams score over 30.
Donnie, final thought?
And just remember, Mullet Man wants those pancakes. So he's going to be out there ready to pull for some big time blocks. So
let me kick it right back to you, Boardman and Howland. This is going to be an interesting game.
Well, I'm finally excited to actually get the call. Like last week, we were supposed to do the call up at Jackson against Boardman, and they put the Knicks on it because they wanted their own little $8 a pop, whatever, Jackson. I don't like you. No, but anyways, I'm excited to call this game, and I'm really excited that Terrence Thomas is going to be back for Boardman. We don't know how much he's going to play or what he actually needs to do, but trust me, he doesn't need a lot of touches to make a lot of things happen. And hopefully they use him smart tomorrow because they still have a great core of players, and Sean O'Horo, and Fernando Ortiz and Anthony Hightower stepped up big time. Cam Thompson is a man on the outside, and I think if they understand that they can utilize him on one-on-one matchups, Howland's going to be in for a long night anyways because they can't score offensively. They've struggled so far this season to score. But yeah, I'm excited to see all the athletes out on the field tomorrow night.
Stevie, you talked to Coach Antrim.
He's one of my favorites. Honestly, he's a great interview every week. That's a team that Donnie, I think you're going to see them get better every week with their skilled people. That is a scary thing. And, Love on the line of scrimmage and some of the other guys. And you talk high school football names. Terleski is a young man at center. It grows up so every game. I think their schedule prepares them. I really do. And, I think they put some points up on the board. I talked with Cam yesterday. He's another great kid. And, those guys, for the first time, will all go out there together as a skill group. And I think they'll put on a show for the Spartan faithful.
Michael, any thoughts on this game?
I mean, I feel like Coach Antrim's going to have these guys prepared to win. And you mentioned it. Howland's a team that does not score the football at a very efficient rate. And that's something that Boardman has been able to do the first 3 weeks of the season. So I feel like the Spartans are ready to win this game by double digits.
Just want to glaze over this one. 2 games on the docket have been canceled. Liberty at Brookfield, or Liberty with Brookfield, I should say, and Valley Christian at United. So those 2 games are canceled. However, Liberty gets a team in Rootstown, going to Rootstown. I don't love it. I don't love it at all. I think that's not exactly a tit for tat, so to speak, for them. So good luck, Liberty, in that game. We're cheering for you. We'll just put it that way. Lisbon at Southern. We talked about Lisbon last week and trying to rally around tragedy. Southern always seemingly shows up. Rich Wright, a guy they're very familiar with here at Beaver Local. Is this Lisbon's rallying point?
Well, I mean, last week you talk about them just taking the field as a rally in itself, around that tragedy. So, I mean, honestly, it's down at Southern, you said. So Southern is definitely a much more sound, solid football team than Lisbon is right now. Lisbon tried to pull it off last week. It just came up short. Unfortunately, I feel like they're going to probably come up a little bit short this week as well. But every day those kids go to practice, every day those kids make it out on the field is a rally for that tragedy.
Let's hit the fast forward button on this. Marlington at West Branch. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't think anybody can stop West Branch right now.
No, DeShields has stepped right into that quarterback position, and they put points up in bunches. They'll probably do it again.
3 straight weeks, over 45 points for West Branch. So watch out for them. Matthews at Edison. You know a thing or two about Edison. Talk to me about what they have going on down there.
And a little bit. They got a nice quarterback. I believe he is 6'5" quarterback, Gage Klein, Jr. I don't know if you can give him the Ben Roethlisberger distinction just yet, but they have some athletes on that football team. But you talk about Matthews, a team that I believe that did they beat Sebring last week? Because I know that they were giving him a fight early in that game. So I feel like Matthews is a team that can go. This game's at Edison, you said?
It's at Edison, yes, sir.
I mean, I feel like Matthews is that team that can run the ball. I'm not sure that Edison can consistently stop the run. I feel like that they can get a couple good plays here and there defensively. But Matthews running the ball, getting it down your throat. I feel like that's how they beat Edison in this game.
That puts Coach Bourne within 2.
I think it is.
Is it 2? I think. Yeah. So, I mean, closing in on it pretty quick. That's what 5? Is that 500?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. All right. Donnie, McDonald at Ridge. Tell me what you know.
McDonald is just so young. They're so young, and they're doing the best they can. I mean, they scored a gang of points against Valley last week, last Saturday night, and they just didn't have enough. Valley obviously outscored them, but I can't ever give it to the Rams, so I'm going to go with McDonald, but I'm not really 100% certain on that.
What are you doing down there? We got guys crawling on the turf. All right, let's go to Stevie, Niles and Lakeview. I think this is going to be a fantastic game.
I think so. I think a great game last week. Lakeview played very well. Niles has improved every week. I think, for me, Niles is one of the most improved teams in the area from week 1 to there. And I think that's a big time rivalry, and that should be a great game, but I would have to give the slight edge to Niles.
North Canton Hoover is taking a trip to Louisville. Louisville has just been really, really trying to get over that hump. Every time I feel like they're going to win a game, turnovers happen and unfortunate situations occur. Louisville really needs to get this victory here to get things back on track, because they can still make the playoffs because they have one of those schedules, boys.
Well, I mean, Louisville, when you think about them, that you're always going to get tough, hard-nosed kids playing at Louisville. Yep. The problem is you have to be disciplined along with playing tough and hard-nosed. So like you were talking about the turnovers and penalties, it just kills you. And North Canton Hoover, they're going to be a well-coached team. They're going to come in. They're going to play very disciplined. It's going to be tough for Louisville to pull it off.
Stevie Poland at Hubbard.
Wow.
This is
pretty good way to start a league opener.
Go ahead and pick this one.
That's a tough one to pick. I think Fulton and Kalisa back and Michael Gordon, I think, again, I just go back to their schedule that they played to this point, I think helps Poland. Obviously, they better find Caffey and where he's at and against a offensive line that may be one of the best in the area. And Hubbard, great game at Hubbard. It's hard to see Poland losing 2 games early. I must say that, but I think Hubbard's got a lot of good things going on, and this is a must-win for them to do what they want to do throughout the rest of the year.
Christian Colosimo on one side, TC Caffey on the other. They meet in the middle. What happens? Is that Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant?
It's like there's a big pile there, and about 4 players from each time are helping everybody up because those 2 play the game the right way.
Yeah,
right.
They're talented, and for the YSN fans, that's one to tune into. There's some talented folks on the football field.
Absolutely is. All right, Sebring at Waterloo. Talk to me about Sebring and talk to me about Waterloo.
I mean, Coach Scheidel talks about it all the time. You got a couple of twins that he likes to give the football to. I feel like that they are going to have kind of their coming out party, if they haven't already, have a big game this week against Waterloo. And I feel like Waterloo is a very solid football team. They can keep this close, but I feel like Coach Scheidel has these boys ready for their signature win of the season, even if it is in week 4, kind of their turning point, if you will, to kind of get on the right tracks.
I can tell you that Coach Scheidel was incredibly disappointed last week. It wasn't the outcome he was looking for. He lost a lot of sleep this week, and I think he's got his troops ready to go. Waterloo, we will let you know, Waterloo, we will not have this game because they're still constructing their stadium. There's no press box for us to shoot from, unfortunately. So the troubles there continue. We're still Waterloo fans, though. We love you. We love you. We just can't wait till that press box is done. Cannot wait to cover Waterloo football. All right. The next game is South Range and Struthers. Can anybody stop the Raiders?
No.
Probably not.
0.6 seconds on that answer there, Steve-O.
Offensive line. And I'm not taking anything away from Dominguez and quarterback and receivers, but their offensive line that returns played a great schedule last year and got playoff experience. That is so huge in high school football. And Coach Yeagley's that guy that knows how to piece it all together. I mean, what did Dominguez have last week? 9 carries for 170 something and a couple touchdowns. So I think they do a good job of getting him off his feet a little bit. And I think they put up a ton of points against Struthers again.
Now, this is a game, remember, 2 years ago that it was like watching ping pong, back and forth, and there was no defense. There was no defense, and I don't know if there's a D. There is no D in any of South Range or Struthers, so that's no surprise. Struthers.
Yep.
I thought there was double T's.
And Dylan Greenwood's a good quarterback at Struthers, and their offense is good with Econiac. So there could be some points scored in that ball game.
Very interested in this one, guys, because I'm never going to count Struthers out of anything, but South Range has been nothing short of impressive, and I think they're just now getting their due diligence. All right, here we go. Springfield, Louisville. Whoa.
Now, here's the issue, though. Louisville's going to be without their head coach this week due to COVID protocol.
Oh, boy.
Okay. That is going to change so much. I understand that the game plan and everything's all set and everything else, but having your leader not on the sidelines for this game, going up against Springfield and Bo Brungard, I mean, it's going to be tough. This is Louisville's there. They're on the cusp, right? They're ready to spill over with Vinny Balone and the crew, but Sebring is still Sebring. Springfield is still
Sebring's still Sebring too.
Springfield is still Springfield, and honestly, without the head coach, without the leader being on the sidelines, it's going to be tough. I will say though, there are going to be some points scored.
Are they going to zoom him in? Like we live in an age of technology. You got to zoom him in.
Yeah, we could share the StreamYard.
Yeah, I'll give him a StreamYard link if that's what they need.
Two different styles, I think, from quarterback. Vinny Balone could throw it. DJ, you've called one of the games with the best of them. I think the big thing for me is Bo and his legs.
Yes.
Can the Louisville defense stop that physical ground game that he has? And the Springfield defense will have their hands full because Bonoski's a great receiver. Balone will throw the ball. Biggest game at Louisville in a long time at the stadium.
I'm with you.
That's huge. That's what we love at YSN. That's a huge game in a small town community that will be like here, it'll be packed.
Warren JFK last week went up against Garrettsville Garfield. Does Warren JFK lose a game the rest of the way? They play Conneaut at Conneaut tomorrow night. I think they bounce back in a big way, and they don't lose until maybe not. Maybe they don't lose the rest of the way.
Conneaut, though, they stuck up on them last year.
Yeah.
I believe it was like a 6-0 game or 14-6 game last year. I mean, Kennedy lost a lot of kids. Conneaut probably lost an equal amount of kids. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's going to be an easy game for Kennedy. Talking with my buddies that are on the coaching staff over there, they're not taking this game lightly. Let's just say that.
I think that usually happens after a loss. Everything's a little bit tighter the next week, right?
Yeah, I think that when I talk with the coaches, I talk to Coach Pav and Coach Antrim, Coach Reardon, all those good teams after a loss become better because you could see things on film from another's perspective, not a win. And I think Coach Perlogo is one of those guys that, again, I'm an experienced guy. There's a lot of kids that you called those names. They're going to come back a little hungrier, a little chip on their shoulder. I think this is a game that will get them back in the right direction and rolling again.
I think this is a chip on the shoulder game for them. You're going to see the big boys up front move them around. Eddie Kiernan and his group of boys up there. I think you're going to see a physical JFK team this week. All right, a game that everybody wants to talk about. It's Ursuline. It's Fitch. This is going to be interesting. Donnie, you have a lot to say about this one. I'm giving you the floor.
Listen, so I got to give a big shout out to Steve Go-Martin, who's a major YSN fan. I mean, he streams up to 4 games in his living room. I asked him earlier. I said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a shout out on the show today. Give me your synopsis on this game," because he's a Fitch guy, and he basically said that he just doesn't know enough about Fitch this year. I think if they would have played last week against Glen Oak, we probably would have known a lot more about them this year. Ursuline does have that chip on their shoulder from the loss last year. They were winning the whole game, and then Fitch decided to do some crazy stuff. And TJ Parker's going to dial up something insane and take a major risk, and he's going to hope that it pays off for him. And Fitch went up to Camp McKinley, 128-14, but then I hear a lot of big plays kept Fitch ahead. A lot of big plays got called back by Camp McKinley. So in Ursuline, they got themselves handed to them 33-0 at the half against Chardon.
But
and blanked Chardon in the second half 27-3. So if they're going to come with a defense like that, they're going to have to come with a defense like that in order to stay in this game. And if they can have a running game established, this could be a shootout. But if Ursuline doesn't have a running game come tomorrow night, Austintown wins big.
Stevie?
I think it's a huge game because of the unknowns. Does that week off help Fitch or hurt Fitch? You'll find that out tomorrow. I'm with you. I think 2 great coaches, 2 very good quarterbacks. Who can run the football? Is it going to be McElroy from Ursuline, who's talented? I think you'll see them try to lean on him a little bit. Fitch's offensive line, will they continue to get better? Can Ursuline build off of the defensive effort of last week? Yes, I think so, because I think they're that talented.
Yeah,
I think that I think Ursuline wins in a close one.
Okay. You got any take on this one?
I mean,
are you going to hold it for tomorrow?
I might hold this one for tomorrow. I think I might hold this one for tomorrow.
See, I'm not here tomorrow. So, and that's no disrespect to Coach Parker and Fitch. I think it's a great thing. I want to see how tough that week off is. That's a hard time for kids to go 2 weeks without playing.
5 weeks are tough.
Right. But also, I know how Coach Parker is. He could come out with new things that have never been seen before. Yeah.
I have to believe, and I don't know this for a fact, I have to believe last week he and his coaches were sitting on YSN and just gazing at that game with Ursuline and Chardon.
It's a great game for the area. It's a great game for those schools, and both teams will get better after the game. There's no doubt.
All right, Mikey, let's go Wellsville at Columbiana. 2 teams really trying to find their stride. Wellsville only in their 2nd game of the year. Columbiana starting to catch fire.
And I think that helps Columbiana a lot. I mean, Wellsville's still I believe they're still trying to find out who they are, what their identity as a football team is. You don't really find that out until year 2, maybe 3 weeks into the season. So they're still trying to find their footing in terms of how they're going to win football games. Columbiana, this is going to be their 4th game of the season. They know how they need to attack football games. They know how they need to win football games. They have their identity. So they know how to game plan to maximize their success, if you will. So I think Columbiana comes out with a big victory against Wellsville.
A tough week last week for Columbiana. Had to find an opponent, had to travel, and things didn't go quite their way. But you look at Wellsville, an EOAC matchup any given Friday, boys. So let's go to one of our final games, Western Reserve at Jackson Milton. I don't know who either of these teams are. I have not yet been able to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Blue Jays because I'll never pick Western Reserve. That's just the McDonald boy at heart in me. No, honestly, they both are trying to find their way. I thought Milton had something this season until they slipped up against Wyndham, and maybe Wyndham is better than I thought they were as well. So we're going to give the slight edge to the Blue Jays.
Stevie?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game. 2 teams searching for themselves and to find an identity. A little edge to Jackson Milton.
Okay. Thoughts?
I agree. Little edge to Jackson Milton.
All right. Lindsley at Cardinal Mooney. Mooney?
Yeah, I think Mooney.
Mooney gets back on track.
I think Mooney too. I mean, it's a different week for them, with everything that's been going on, and I think they rally around, their program.
All right, and now we got to talk about this game. You wanna give us a little insight on this game?
Well, I mean, last week, it's a big game for Beaver Local. Not only are they searching for their first win, but they're dealing without arguably their best player on the team in Caleb White offensively. What are you going to do who are you going to give his touches to? Who are you going to give his carries to? You saw that go to Joe Mon a little bit. He had a couple of big plays. I mean, you just talked to him a little bit ago. I feel like that he's going to have a big role in this game. But one player that I think caught us all by surprise, Blake Lucas, a junior who had been known for his stellar defensive line play, played a little running back in middle school. They threw him in there, and boy, did he look like he hadn't skipped a beat since about 3 years ago when that was the last time he played running back. He looked explosive. I mean, he's got that speed. I think he's going to get a big bulk of carries as well. I mean, you got Austin Klein, a sophomore quarterback who's been slinging the rock like nobody's business his first 3 weeks. And one of his favorite targets, Caden Foster, you saw him get some extra work. He had a couple of touchdowns last week. No shortage of skill position players, I should say, offensively for Beaver Local. And you look at East Liverpool's offense, Devin Toothman is going to have, I believe, a good game. I mean, that kid is a stud. He's an athlete, football, basketball, baseball, you name it. He is going to dominate. He's going to go out there and play a phenomenal football game. My question is, how does Beaver Local's defensive line hold up against East Liverpool's offensive line, led by Mason Ludwig, who's got Division I offers? He is a great offensive lineman. I want to see Blake Lucas against Mason Ludwig because that was a great matchup last year. I think that this game, with all the skill position players that we talk about, all the speed, this game's going to be one in the trenches. It's going to be one up front. Which defensive line plays better against the opposition's offensive line?
Did anybody else just kind of waver the other way?
Just be quiet. Tune into him tomorrow night while I'm at the hotel and watch a good game. I think I'm a big Coach McKenzie fan. I really am. I have the Beaver Local on. Coach Beam, obviously, is family to me. He's the athletic director here. This community supports this place and athletes, like you said, the new things that are going on here. I think they got the right guy in charge as a football coach, and they got a great one as an athletic director. I think Beaver Local wins. I do. It's going to be tough, no question, but I'm going to go with the home team, and I'm afraid of Michael's dad, so I'm going with the Beaver Local. I'm going for the W.
I don't think you need to be that afraid.
I'm terrified. Don't
Listen, I honestly think it's going to be a very, very tough physical game. I do give the edge to Beaver Local, though. I mean, just talking to the boys over there and talking to Coach, you could just see that they really want this game. And again, both teams 1 and 2, but they're a different 1 and 2. Beaver Local's been able to put some points on the board. They actually have outscored their opponents this year. In East Liverpool's struggled a little bit to put some points on the board. So I think Beaver Local's defense is going to come to the occasion. And like you said earlier, he's not going to let them on the goal line. So I'm going to go with the Beavers.
These are two teams lying in the weeds, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, when you play the likes of Salem and West Branch, these are two teams that now you get down to nitty gritty. You get the non-conference out of the way, and now you go.
Right.
So I'm interested to see this one. Devin Toothman is going to be a name you say a lot tomorrow.
Oh yeah, big time.
Mason Ludwig also. So nice job on the research on that. It's a coin toss for me. It really is, because all the records, anything goes out the window when these two teams meet because it all happens right out here, boys, and it happens up front. So I'll be interested to see how this goes, but more or less, I got to tell you, I'm so happy we have this game. I'm so happy we have this game. Plus, I think 22 officially still on the docket. We had 24 tonight, 1 tomorrow. So excited for this weekend. Excited that we were able to come out to Beaver Local. Thank you for setting everything up. The accommodations, Bob Beam, as well as Mike McKenzie, and our 4 seniors that joined us today. On behalf of Donnie, Steve, Mikey, I'm DJ. That's going to do it. Join us next week from Poland, Ohio for YSN Primetime Live. See you.